Hey everybody, my name is Karthik and I'm with UZ Marketing, and I have a wonderful special guest today. His name is Ryan and he's from LawnCrack.com, and he has a couple other websites too. So basically, he is uh, very successful in his YouTube channel. He has a landscaping YouTube channel, and he also services a few other niche things in the landscaping industry too, specifically making lawn care websites for landscaping professionals, as well as SEO, which is search engine optimization, and other things like that, mostly focused around the lawn care industry. So Ryan, if you can go ahead and give us an introduction, who you are, what you do, yeah, go for it.
Okay. My name's Ryan Shamana. I am the founder of LawnCrack. I started LawnCrack as I was preparing to sell my lawn and landscape business. I started a lawn and landscape business in 2009. I was working for another company. I fell in love with the work. I was very passionate about it. I thought I could make a lot of money at it. So I asked my boss if I could cut grass when I got off work from cutting grass all day. So I started with my parents' equipment, put outdoor hangers, and within 2 years I was solo, no longer had a job. The next year I hired my buddy and best friend. A couple years after that, we had 7 trucks and we were rocking and rolling, and it was a madhouse. And then reined it in. And just I fell in love with the internet. That's how the business grew so fast, along with doing good work, getting people quotes in a timely fashion, and other marketing efforts that we made, such as EDDM campaigns and business cards and yard signs and door hangers. I mean, we marketed the heck out of the business, and it really paid off. So that's kind of my story. I started in the lawn care industry, saw what the internet did for that business, and now I just want to do that for other businesses, and I've been doing it ever since. So that's basically it.
Man, that is awesome. So, the internet specifically is the backbone of our business too. I mean, we get so much value from being able to capitalize on the interesting thing about the internet, like being on websites, search engine optimization. We're not so focused on SEO now. We kind of veered very strongly into printing. As you probably know, that's probably how you found out about
Yeah.
us, through our yard signs. So there's still a lot more opportunity available when it comes to SEO, to web development. It's so broad, and even now we're starting a YouTube channel similar to, like, you have a YouTube channel. You took advantage of the knowledge that you have, and now you're sharing it with other landscaping people, and it kind of fits in line with your passion for helping other lawn care businesses. Like, you asked to cut grass after hours and you weren't being paid for it. Is that kind of how it is?
Yeah, I was asking to be paid for it.
Okay.
That's for sure. I am a big proponent of doing a handful of jobs here and there for free, to show people what you can do, build
Yeah.
relationships, that kind of stuff. But I 100%, if you're running a business, I hope you are profitable in your business and
Yeah.
charging appropriately.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
What I was getting at is basically you loved it. You loved it so much that you were doing it in your free
Yes.
time. Essentially, you were doing it even after the hours that you were scheduled to be working. So
Yeah.
that's
At that point in my life, I was 24 years old and I was going nowhere fast, if you know what I mean. So I was like, this is it. This is my one opportunity to make something of my life. And I actually responded to a Craigslist ad to get that job. And I'm so thankful. Gary hired me. We're still friends today. He still operates his business. He actually called me last year and wanted to sell it to me. And I was like,
Oh, nice.
I'm not interested in buying another business. I'm actually part of a local business. I'm a financial investor in a local business. I don't have necessarily any ownership in it, but I do profit from their success and handle their marketing and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's incredible. So, when it comes to internet marketing and landscaping and things like that, can you share a little bit with the audience on how you kind of got into SEO, and a little bit about web development and YouTube too? How did you get into all this, and how did you start seeing some returns and improving your presence?
Okay. So, I mean, going back to the very beginning, I hired somebody to build a website for me in, I believe, 2010-ish is when I was like, I need to get a website. So I had a customer who told me he built websites. So I thought that's what he did. He turned out to be a realtor that built websites on the side. So I was mowing his house and a rental property he owned, and he built my website and then was supposed to be maintaining it. Well, 2 years down the road, he's no longer making any edit requests or additions to the website that I want made, and we're still cutting 2 lawns a week for this guy. So I said, hey, I think, if anything, this is lopsided. You're definitely winning in this trade. I don't want to do the trade anymore. I just want to take over my website. So I took over my website in right around 2011, 2012-ish. I don't know the exact date. And that's when I was like, I got to learn what Google wants on these websites and what people want when they go to a website. What do they want to see? What's the look, the feel? What information do they need to know? What are the calls to action? All this kind of stuff, right? And over the course of the next couple of years, I figured it out, and I got that business's website to the top of Google. I mean, just dominating Google. And it was just everything I did from just hours and hours of research and then implementing what I learned. And then, so like I said, I sold the business. I hooked up with a local guy here. His name's Ethan Mann. And we actually started a podcast. I can't even remember the name of the podcast, to be honest with you. But it was kind of like I was doing LawnCrack on YouTube. Ethan had the idea for the podcast. And for some reason, we branded the podcast on a different name. And then after about 3 months of doing both, I was like, look, Ethan, obviously you're the podcast guy. I'm the LawnCrack guy. I'm like, how about we just split this? You do the podcast, I'll do the YouTube channel and run LawnCrack and this kind of stuff. I built the area calculator is a very popular tool for those people that have found it. I had some local developers from college code out a way to measure the square footage of a property from a phone. We have apps on the iOS and Android. And there's other tools that do this, right? Some of them are paid. Ours is free. And none of them have all the features that I had my developers incorporate into our area calculator. So I get emails and texts about people thanking me for the area calculator and how they use it every day, and all this kind of stuff. So that's kind of my spiel.
Dude, that's amazing. Like that. Think about how I'm trying to think how much value that would serve for if I had my own landscaping business. I had to go to that place, map out the square footage. I had to ask them owners for how much square footage and calculate all that. This is something that your app does within like seconds, maybe a minute tops. The internet's slow. So that's really incredible as far as a tool that is good for the landscaping business. So I think that's pretty impressive.
I mean, if you know your numbers and your business and all this kind of stuff, like there are several services that you can provide a very accurate quote just knowing the square footage of the turf and or the property. I'm a square footage of turf guy. That's like if you're applying chemicals, that's going to tell you how much chemicals, how much chemical use is going to go down on that application. And then you can calculate your price from that. Lawn mowing, you can see the square footage of the lawn. You can see if it has a fence or not. You can see if it has, it's a corner lot with twice as much sidewalk. You can see all this kind of stuff. You can get the square footage. It takes us X number of minutes to cut X number of square feet. Hopefully you're tracking your time and have that kind of data accurate and available. And then you can add on, it has a small gate. We got to get a 36 or a push mower in that backyard, so on and so forth. We need to add $5 because of that. There's a big hill in the back, $5 because of that. And then we were quoting people on the phone back in like 2015, 2016, that they would call in, ask for a quote. Within a minute, we have a quote. We're on the phone with them to small talk, give them a quote, and they're like, "Are you serious? Like, how did you do that?" I'm like, "Well, we mapped it out." I was using a website called Daft Logic back then, and it's still around and it's still free and it's still a great area calculator, but they don't have an app or anything like that, so it's really hard to use on a phone. So that's kind of the bonus of ours with the app.
Interesting. So you mentioned something about being like data and metrics and having the right information. I'm a huge numbers guy. I'm a data guy. Like at the end of every single day, my question to our team or any decision or business decision that is made, what do the numbers say? Titrate everything down, extrapolate everything from the question to a number. So I'm using the word extrapolate wrong, but basically take what idea you have, bring it down to a number. And it's something I was blessed. My dad taught that to me when I was like 7 to 8 years old. He was like, anything that can be measured can be improved. So in order to
Yeah.
price things out, in your case where you were talking about, you need to know exactly how much square footage of chemical you're going to be doing. And also if there's a hill, it's going to increase the amount of time and wear and tear on the mower. And there's like different variables that are small variables. That's so important to be able to properly use data to make that decision on how to price out a job. I'll tell you, if I was a customer and you were able to give me an accurate quote within a couple minutes, that's so helpful. It's like
Yeah.
beyond what I would consider to be just valuable. It's like way more than that.
Well, what I don't mean to interrupt,
Go ahead, go ahead.
but one valuable tip for any lawn care and landscaping business owner is the speed that you can get that person a quote from the time they call in, email in, text you, hit you up on Facebook, however they get in contact with you. There's a direct correlation. If it takes you 5 minutes to get them a quote, you have about a 99% chance of getting that job. If it takes you 24 hours to get them a quote, you're probably down to 50% chance to getting that job. If it takes you 2 days, you're down to probably 5 or 10% chance of getting that job because somebody has already gotten that job. When these people are looking for a service provider, they don't want to be looking for a service provider all day long. They want to get this checked off of their to-do list today and move on to the next thing they got to do. So 100%, like you want to get somebody a quote really, really fast. And going back to your dad, talking to you about the numbers when you were a kid, my dad was such a stickler when I started my lawn care business about you need to track every number, this, that, the other thing. He got me paying my guys on percentage pay. I have a lot of content on my YouTube channel about percentage pay. There's blogs on the LawnCrack website that go into it in detail with some calculators. I have spreadsheet tools and all this kind of stuff that can kind of open your eyes up to how potentially valuable paying your employees on a percentage system can be. Like for your business at UZ Marketing, I don't know if paying people on a percentage makes sense. But I think for a lot of service-based businesses, like it's pretty standardized in the car industry. Guys are getting paid off a percentage pay.
Yeah.
I think all the lawn care and landscaping companies should be paying guys on percentage pay. And it probably extends to, HVAC and plumbers and any kind of trade service-based business. Incentivize your people for working more efficiently and not having callbacks and all that kind of stuff. And you're going to watch your profitability go through the roof. Their pay should increase. Your good employees, their pay will increase. The bad employees are basically going to get weeded out of your company because nobody's going to want them on their crew because they're literally costing them money every day or costing them hours that they could be not working with their family with all the money in their pocket if they would have been with somebody that was, also working efficiently and knew how to do their job very well and all that kind of stuff.
I think like you bring up really good points, which is percentage pay. We don't have exactly percentage pay, but we do have incentive programs where it's designed for efficiency. We find that to be far more effective than base salary. Just because you probably had this experience, we've had this experience, and a few other people I've talked to also had this experience. It's pretty common across the board that finding good help is really hard. Like finding a person that's dedicated to be a good employee of your business. We're basically asking for other people to be entrepreneurs just like us, but a lot of people, 95% of people aren't geared that way. But there are a lot of people who are geared that way, like enough people who are geared that way, even though they're not wanting to take the risk of starting a business, they would appreciate the incentive and the rewards of assisting a business grow. Because a lot of people, there's people that I know that have really good ideas. So how do we turn that into incentive program? That's one of the things that we try to do a lot here is we find somebody's gifts. Well, first we screen them a lot. We screen the crap out of them and make sure that they're going to be a right fit for the business. If they are, then we give them incentive programs and we give them growth opportunities so that they can have a vision and see the long-term vision with this company to be incentivized to stay. So you're mentioning the percentage pay. It's probably very, very, very helpful for your business. And pressure washing companies too, there's like very much parallel between pressure washing and landscaping, even though the service is different. So can you tell a little bit about the percentage pay and like, can you go a little bit into detail so the people viewing and listening can understand?
Okay. And that's exactly why I mentioned that, a percentage pay may not work for your business. That's what I was going to say. Some kind of incentive based pay would be a, alternative there. Okay. So I get a lot of questions on the percentage pay. That's why I seriously have, I think 5 or 6 videos on it, 2 blog posts, all this kind of stuff. I go over it pretty extensively in the book I wrote. So the main question that seems to be is like, how do I determine what the percentage I should pay my employees? So I think this would be, the best place for anybody to start with this. Basically, all you need to do is look at the number of hours worked over the past several weeks. Hopefully you have like a year or 2 years worth of data, because very well if you're in this industry that, it's a really busy time in the spring. And like if you're cutting grass in the spring, it takes a lot longer to cut grass in the spring than it does in the middle of the summer when there's a whole lot less grass to cut. The grass is less thick. It's not clumping up. There's so much less trimming. The edging goes quicker. Blowing goes quicker, so on and so forth, right? So you don't just want to take like 3 weeks of spring job times to calculate this. Ideally take a week in the spring, a week in the summer, a week in the fall. And then what you want to look at is man hours worked and revenue produced. And then, obviously, assuming you're paying them currently on an hourly rate, you know what that hourly rate is. That's basically just set in stone. So you just take your numbers that you have to work with, and then you would divide hours worked. Off the top of my head, I'm going to mess this up. Cool. I'm so used to calculators these days. But basically, that's all you need to do. Get a nice little sample of the man hours worked in, say, a week, revenue produced, and then you just need to do a little math and get your percentage. And then, that's a great starting point. So then you can bring it to your guys like, look, if you just continue to perform as you have been performing over the past season, you're going to make exactly the same. If you perform, poorer, you're going to make less. If you perform better, you're going to make more dollars essentially per hour. You're going to make more money in a shorter period of time. And, you basically the profitability standardized in the business at this point is as much as it possibly can be. There's just so many benefits to it, but it is rather complex. You do need to do some research into the rules and regulations regarding this. You can't pay somebody on percentage pay and then their pay ended up being less than minimum wage would have been. Like that is going to be illegal. So you need to get with an accountant on it, do some math, do some research, and pitch it to your guys. Really, that's what I think it comes down to. Pitch it to your guys, let them see what they think about it. And like I said before, it's really best if you have good employees, like really go-getter employees, which obviously is hard to find. And that's not just a thing in the lawn and landscape industry. All businesses in all industries of all sizes have employee issues, especially with the government just passing out money like they got it, I guess, because they don't. So that's that. Okay. Yeah, I'd recommend referencing the free material I got out there on it, and then there's a book off the top of my head. It's something like The Beautiful Art of Piecework. I want to say it's something like that. The Beautiful Art of Piecework, something along those lines. This guy wrote, 150 page book on percentage pay and just broke everything down. I read that book a couple times before I implemented the percentage pay in my business. My dad helped me out with it. He's got an accounting background. He was a CPA for a number of years and that kind of stuff. So, that's why I'm saying get with some people that are smarter than you. I recommend surround yourself with people that are smarter than you, and you'll be amazed what happens.
Yeah, that actually reminds me. I was doing network marketing, multi-level marketing, many years ago, and in that network, one of the guys said, if you take the average of the 5 people closest to you, you are that average. So their happiness level, their income level, even their poverty level, whatever, their sadness level, depression. Sociability, you are the average of those 5 people. So you're absolutely right. Surround yourself with the people who are smarter than you, and your by default will increase. So you mentioned
Exactly.
a good bit about the the percentage-based incentive program, which is awesome.
Mhm.
And a little bit earlier, you did mention a little bit about door hangers, marketing, postcards, yard signs, and things like that. Can you share a little
Yep.
bit about your experience succeeding with those print marketing?
So to me, successful marketing involves doing a bunch of stuff. Yeah, I'm sure if you're into marketing at all, you've heard the 7 touches
Mm-hmm.
or however many touches somebody wants to put in their little statement. But I do agree with that. Very rarely is someone going to see your logo, your advertisement, your business name, anything for the first time and be like, I'm going with them. They're going to want to get reassurance, which could come in the form of, online reviews or whatever it may be. But if they keep seeing your business logo, business name, this kind of stuff, that you start to become familiar to them, and now they're much more likely to do business with you. So the way I look at marketing is the website is your hub, your home base, right? I am seriously a big fan of printed material. The problem with printed material is you have X amount of space, right? A business card's typically, I don't know, 3x5. You know what I'm saying? You can't fit a ton of data on that. You should have your website link on your business card to send them to your website, right? And then you have other internet properties. So just my word of caution, when you're dealing with YouTube or Facebook or any of these platforms, you're playing on their ball field.
Mm-hmm.
So don't go super crazy, because they could change the rules. They can close your account down. They can do anything they want, because at the end of the day, you're playing on their turf. So with that said, website first, other internet properties, I don't know if I'd call it second, but then I like to do, like, if I'm marketing a local service business and seriously got a budget, and when I was marketing my own business, I'm doing yard signs, I'm doing postcards via EDDM. Radius Bomb had just come out back then, so I wasn't really familiar with that at that point. Business cards, just to have a handful, just that pass out as needed. I was a big fan of networking meetings. So obviously in a networking meeting, you're going to want business cards, door hangers to leave behind. Do your 5 rounds, 7 rounds, 9 rounds, however many around you want to go. That is just a great way to build route density. With the yard signs, I'm not a big fan of people putting yard signs out and then just never picking them up. What I like to see more companies do is you have 15 houses in the subdivision. When you drive your truck and trailer into that subdivision, stick your sign out front, and when you leave, pick your sign back up. Now you got your sign intact, ready to use again, and you're not, making people mad that see your sign there for a week and a half, and at some point, a dog took a bite out of it, and it's weathered and worn, and and then it just looks like bad. You know what I mean? So that's kind of my thing. Try to send people to the internet via other internet properties and or printed material in the form of networking, handing out business cards, yard signs in strategic locations, EDDM to tighten up your route, the door hangers around the existing customers to tighten up your route. That's kind of the core of marketing a business locally to me. And I didn't mention ads. I would highly recommend doing advertisements on the internet also.
So you're absolutely right. The marketing is a completely comprehensive beast. There's so many different things, and yeah, I've heard 7 touch points. That's the number that I'm so used to hearing, and it is a lot. You do have to reach a customer many times, especially if they don't know your business. Google, however, there's a high chance that the people who are searching will go to the person who's first on Google. So there's so much value in being first on Google that SEO would probably be one of the most valuable things to focus on. After the website, of course, you got to have a website in order to do SEO. So the web presence in 2021, man, it's getting more and more important to have a website. So those fundamental things that you can do, get people's attention, show up on Google, offer your services, and just have some type of presence. Even if you're not a web-based company, like landscaping, for instance, I find that having a web presence is important for people to look you up. Maybe they want to see pictures. Maybe they want to know you're a real company and not just I don't know, just some random person who might be scamming them. So there's a few different ways that can work. And right, business cards are so small. Those business cards are entirely small. It has a very specific application, and that is to be viewed in your hands. I've seen sometimes when people overload the business card with too much information, and it actually detracts from what it needs to, like from the value that it could provide, because it's just so dense with information. The person holding it in their hands can't figure out what it is that they need to, to get from it. So there's
100%.
and then the yard sign suggestion. That's actually one of the best suggestions I've heard, where you put it in the neighborhood and then take it up when you leave, because that gives you return on investment over and over and over and over and over again. So it's like a one-time purchase, and you have these 25, 50 yard signs for a long time, and that's a very valuable.
But if you are getting your yard signs at UZ Marketing, they're not very expensive to begin with. You don't need to feel bad if you lose one.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Seriously, you guys have the best prices on printed material. I every now and then I'll check around, but I mean, seriously, I do not know how you keep the quality of the printed material and the price, how you keep it. Like, it's amazing.
Yeah, that's interesting, because when it comes down to it, it's value. What value are we providing to our users? So that's kind of why we started this YouTube channel. And similar to the things that you offer and ways that you promote yourself, you have so many different ways to offer value. That app, for instance, the square footage calculator, I can't even begin to think about how much value you provide to people, and they remember you. They remember who you are, and they see your other services, and they watch your YouTube channel. You have so many different ways that people can see who you are and the information that you're sharing with other people. It's that's kind of like the path that we want to take too. There's more than just printing. We want to be more than just print marketing company.
Well, I'll tell you what, honestly, how popular and how many people go and use the area calculator every day really blows my mind. It's the most popular page on LawnCrack's website, hands down, right? But I could probably actually look into this. It's like the plumber with the leaky pipes thing. I don't really maintain my own websites nearly as well as I should, but I should try to figure out how many backlinks LawnCrack has received, just organic backlinks that someone was like, oh, I found the LawnCrack area calculator. I'm going to link to it because it's going to provide value to the people on my website. And if you know anything about SEO, like backlinks are the driving force of SEO, and they're very hard to get relevant, legal, if you will, not paid for backlinks from a relevant site, authoritative site, that kind of stuff. But just having that area calculator, which it actually cost me a decent amount of money. It probably cost me $4,000 to operate the area calculator last year, and those are just fees of tapping into Google Maps API. But I was really happy to pay the $4,000 to Google for the amount of people that it brings to my website, and then kind of offset that and actually profit with the revenue I make from ads being ran on my YouTube channel. So I look at that as a wash and actually a win at the end of the day, that I'm paying Google to use the area calculator, and then they're paying me to create YouTube videos, which if you've been watching my channel, I'm terrible about making videos. Like ever since 2020 hit, I think I've made like 10 videos, but I'm going to get back on it. And this is really helping me get motivated right here.
Yeah, I hope you do make more videos. You have so much value that you offer. So it's not just in the landscaping, but like in the marketing side of it too. So you talked a little bit about SEO, right? Talking about backlinks. If somebody else were to have a landscaping business, then what SEO tips would you suggest? Like basic rudimentary SEO where they can get their foot in the door.
Okay. So I think the first things first. So when you're a local business, I actually do see value in just getting your technical and fundamental SEO squared away. And that may sound daunting. There's really just not a whole lot to it at the end of the day. I'm talking about your H tag structure. These are headlines on your website. You want your headline 1 to be, very descriptive of that page. There should only be one, stuff like this. Then H2 tag should be the next most important thing mentioned on that page, all in line with your H1 tag, all in line with your URL slug for that page and this kind of stuff. I don't know if that's getting a little too technical, but basically just make sure your website is, number one, contains all the information that it should. You don't know how many times people ask me to check out their website and I can't find their phone number. There's no contact form. There's no email. I'm like, literally, people cannot contact you from your website. Okay, like, do you realize this? Looking at your website, there's no way for somebody to contact you after they get here. I mean, I've seriously seen that a couple times. So that's number one. Make sure your name, address, and phone. That's another thing. Service area. So many times I'm on a website with no hint at all where this business operates. So I'm assuming if you're a local person, maybe you recognize the area code of the phone number, assuming that's on the page. But so often I see no hint or reference at all to, we service these cities, we service these counties, we service these zip codes. That is missing so much. And then so if you're a local service business, you got your website is the number one online property. The very close number two online property is your Google My Business. So if you are not familiar with Google My Business, you literally just go to google.com/business and set up your free Google My Business account. If you don't have a website, you can literally get a free website right from within your Google My Business account. All you got to do is populate your Google My Business stuff where it's fill in the blank. What's your business name? What's your business category? What are your business hours? What's your phone number? So on and so forth. Well, one of the options in there is create a website. So you can literally create a website for free right from your Google My Business. So along with the website, then get your Google My Business fully populated. I recommend a minimum of 20 pictures that you took yourself, minimum of 20, and then make Google posts and fetch reviews on Google specifically. Reviews anywhere you get a review online is going to benefit you, but on Google is going to benefit you the most. So first and foremost, try to collect reviews on Google. And Google will give you a link for someone to click and then tap on stars right from within your Google My Business. So get in there, grab your link, text it to your friends, family, obviously preferably customers, past customers, current customers. You can post it to social media, all that kind of stuff. You can stick it on your website if you want. You can do whatever you want with it to make it super quick and easy for people to give you reviews, and actively ask people to give you reviews. People are much more likely to leave you a negative review because they had a bad experience than they're like just not prompted. It's just like the way people are not wired to be like, oh, I just had a great experience, I should go leave them a Google review. That's not popping in people's heads. So it's your job as the business owner to know, I just provided an excellent service to this person. I'm going to give them a call, or I'm going to shoot them a text, or I'm going to shoot them an email and request that they leave me a review. I'm going to give them a link. They're going to tap it. It's going to take them less than a minute. I mean, nobody's going to be offended by this. Right. So please request your customers leave you reviews. There's nothing wrong with that. You can't incentivize people for leaving you Google reviews. Don't do that. If you get caught doing that, you're going to fall off the face of Google forever. I promise you. But then just post to Google My Business. It's similar to posting to Facebook without all the Facebook mumbo jumbo and all that kind of stuff. So just no social media aspect of it. Just make a post to Google, picture, type a paragraph or a couple sentences, whatever you want to put in there, and then link to your website, or make the call to action, call your business right from that. And what we do when we're providing SEO services for a client, we're going to make a Google post once a week. That's all you need to do it. It's just a once a week type thing. And while we're in there, if they provided us with unique photos, their own original photos they took, we're going to upload a minimum of 2 photos to their Google My Business every week. And by doing this, by fetching reviews, responding to reviews, making a post every week, and uploading 2 pictures to Google, it's clear as day to Google that you are active in business and serving customers well. Okay. And that is what Google wants, to be confident in showing you on the first page of Google. They do not want to give people bad search results. They want to, whatever that is at the top of Google, they want that person to pick whichever one sticks out to them and then have a great experience, meaning that website contained everything they expected it to contain. And, basically the search engines, like Google's like, we don't want people to go search on Bing. Bing's like, we don't want people to go search on Google or DuckDuckGo and all that, because that's how they make their money. They make their money from all the ads being ran on their platform. So they're trying to serve up the best search results. So Google's hands down #1 search engine. Make sure you're proving to Google, showing Google on a weekly basis that you are active, open, and doing a good job when people hire your business.
Cool. It seems like it's pretty straightforward, man. Like what you were referring to is posting on Google My Business. I think it's an integral part, just like having a website. It's very easy to set up. You just mentioned it took like fill in the blanks. So having that posting a couple times a week is nothing. I mean, a lot of people who may be in the landscaping business, after a job, it's nothing to pull out your phone, take a picture, and then post it to the Google My Business. It could be done within 5 minutes and you're already there. So that, in addition to also posting it on Facebook, having those pictures in multiple places, and then showing customers especially that you are active and giving them a way to look at your work to help them make that decision if they want to go for your business also.
100%. Yep. And you said it. You said, just pull out your phone and snap a pic and make your post. It takes 5 minutes. And what these lawn landscape guys are saying right now is, I ain't got 5 minutes. I got to get to the next job, blah, blah, blah. And I 100% agree. And I felt that same way when I was out there trying to cut, 35 yards in a day with one other guy in my truck. You know what I mean? I know the feeling, but believe me, if you're trying to build a business, okay, I think too many lawn landscape guys are trying to build a job that's going to, run them right into the ground one day. You know what I mean? Try to build a business and think about this kind of stuff. Is it really going to matter if I pull my phone out and snap this picture right now? You can literally just pull the phone out and snap the picture. You don't even have to make the post right then. You can make the post later that day. Just take some more pictures. That's the #1 issue I have building websites for, especially the lawn and landscape guys. So many of them have very, very few pictures of their work. It's hard for me to get a feel for the company, the area, the types of homes and this kind of stuff, because I have, 5-10 pictures to try to build a whole entire 20-page website with.
Wow.
It makes it tough. So yeah, people want to see your work. I truly believe people want to see the employees of the business, whether it's the owner of the business, a crew leader, or office person. People like doing business with people. So get over yourself, show your face. Nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to say anything to you. It's completely normal, and you're going to get more business because of it.
Kind of what you were referring to is, it reminds me of a topic called scalability. And a lot of the times I've seen a business owner just get so engrossed in their work that they aren't really focusing on ways to scale the business. So essentially, like what you said, they're doing so much work, they're running them straight into the ground, physically speaking, instead of creating ways to be able to hire somebody, train that person, and then pass it on to the next person. So your business is running by itself while you are out there either getting more customers or hiring more people or finding different ways to expand your service. There's a roofing company that we've done business with since 2013. I want to say very, very, very beginning when we first started doing marketing. We were working with this company, and they've grown from where they were in just the Houston area. Now they have roofing services that they offer in almost every single state in the southeast region. So that's so incredible because we knew them on a one-to-one basis. And then their business has scaled to the point where they have offices in San Antonio. They have an office in Florida, a couple offices in Florida. So it's inspiring to see that.
Yeah, that's great when your customers' businesses are growing like that. That helps out your business. You know what I mean?
For sure, and that's the beauty too.
Okay.
Like that's another thing that we focus on is if we find ways to help our customers grow their business, by default we will grow. That's kind of the way if we shift our mindset to giving them more value and helping them. Like what one thing we started doing after seeing this a lot, like believe it or not, a lot of people place orders with typos on them. They place orders that don't really make sense with how it's supposed to be used. Like for a door hanger, for instance, a lot of people on the back side of the door hanger, they want to be able to check off the box and say this is the service that you need. It's popular among pest control businesses. They say this is what your house needs. I can do this for you. We started checking it because sometimes they will select a UV coated door hanger, but you can't write on that. So we have to use our understanding that this customer selected something that's not going to work for them. And like for us being able to do that and also catching typos, despite how many orders that we look at, there's other companies that won't catch the typos. They'll just send it to print and then they'll be tasked to make a reprint because whatnot. So we try to catch that up front, and sometimes we even catch it in Spanish, like Spanish typos. So going a little bit above and beyond for the customer in that sense, I found it's really impacted them and make them happy, because nothing's worse than spending like a couple $100s on marketing only to find out you can't use it because you typed the number wrong or something.
That is great. I mean, I see those disclaimers on, print websites all the time. And I'm terrible. I'm really dyslexic. I use Grammarly on my computer, the paid version, to try to catch stuff. And I have several people, including employees, that just proofread my stuff because I am terrible with swapping, the wrong your, for example, or put you instead of your or whatever. And my brain just corrects it. You know what I mean? So it's really hard for me to catch a lot of spelling errors. And when you're talking about numbers, oh, forget it. I'm done. So.
Yeah. Luckily, we have technology, man. The technology out there is so incredible. It can solve a lot of problems like catching typos and things like that. Grammarly, there's a service that you pay for, and it's giving you enough value to warrant paying for the service. So that's similar to what we do too, is we want to make sure we proofread everything and make sure it's right. So we have some people who go back and check our own work. So we make sure that we're putting out legible stuff. So
that's great.
A little bit more about, talk about your YouTube channel if you can. Like, how did you, what do you do on your YouTube? What's your inspiration, and how do you move forward with your YouTube channel so far?
So, the thing with the YouTube channel is I'm not a video editor, and I cannot stand doing it. And I don't think I'm ready. I've reached out to some people for, how much would it be to edit these videos? And I'm getting $500 plus a video and stuff. And I'm like, this doesn't financially make sense. So that's why I haven't been making a whole lot of videos recently. When I started off the channel, I think my videos back, if you go back to the beginning of the LawnCrack YouTube channel, those videos are super solid advice. I mean, that's back when I was still literally owned my company and all that kind of stuff. The videos themselves are terrible, right? I was trying to do a green screen. My hair was like in the process of getting long, so it was just in a ridiculous length. So I just looked ridiculous. The background looked ridiculous. I was in my old crappy house. Everything was so crappy about them, but it was really great information. So that's like, so when I started off the LawnCrack YouTube channel, I was running the lawn care business. I was in it every day. I was living it, eating it, breathing it, all that kind of stuff. And now I sold my business in the March of 2018. So it's been years and years and years. So I'm almost to the point where I almost want to rename the LawnCrack YouTube channel Ryan Shimana, because that's me, and expand the topics. Like, yes, I'm keep the core kind of audience as lawn and landscape professionals or DIY professionals, however you want to look at it. But I really want to talk about marketing. Like, that's what I do all day, every day for right now. I think we're marketing for 25 to 30. I would have to look how many are like active on our ongoing SEO services. We've built so many websites over the winter that it's really tough. My website online marketing business is growing so fast right now. It's keeping me from making videos. But when I do get back to making videos, which is going to be this year for sure, at some point this year, I'm gonna rein it in. I've hired 2 people. Everyone's getting trained up. Everyone's starting to contribute and actually save me time instead of cost me time having to train them. I'm trying to build a business. I have no intention. I didn't have any intention to build a website company that I sit here and build websites all day, every day. Although I do love doing it, designing the website's my favorite part and all this kind of stuff. But that's what it is. I want to get into making videos on, I don't know if I'm in a position to make videos on, kind of life advice, if you will, but I just feel like I've been through a lot of stuff. I've done a lot of things I don't think a lot of people have done. And, some of the stuff I've done, nobody should do. So I just, I've done a lot, I've seen a lot. And I'm just kind of in a weird place. Like I joke around and say I'm semi-retired, because I actually passively make more money than I spend every year. So technically I am retired, but I have no intention of retiring because I want to be a multi-millionaire, billionaire. I want to change the world. I want to do crazy things. And that's what keeps me going. And that's why I work 16 hours a day. Most of the days I love what I do. I don't know what I would do without it. And my free time I spend with my daughter, and that's that really keeps me going. And just seeing her future and everything that she has ahead of her just really gets me excited. So that's kind of what I want to get back to, making some lawn landscape content on the channel, but more focused on marketing businesses in general, and trying to save people some time and frustration from the mistakes I've made in my life since I've learned from them. And I'm getting old now, Yeah. Seriously. I feel like I'm getting old for once in my life. It's crazy.
So the YouTube channel, I think when you're saying something about giving life advice, I think you could do it. I think anybody could do it. Anybody who's had some experience with something can actually share their experience with others on how they can, like, there's going to be a market for everything, right? And I use this example every now and again, that we have a customer who makes candles. They're custom candles, but it's not just candles. They're anime candles, where they create a candle with the scent and the look of a specific anime character, right? And like, for instance, they'll have a Dragon Ball Z Goku candle, and it's orange color and whatnot. So that is so niche. There's like few people who like anime, there's a few people who like candles, and then even smaller people who like both and are willing to spend money on it. But they sell a decent amount. Like, there is a market for everything. So I'm a firm believer in, like, no matter what you decide to do, there's going to be an audience for that. This YouTube channel that we're making now, it's a pretty small scale now, but there's going to be a decent amount of people who need this type of information and are actively searching for this information. So that's the beautiful thing about YouTube. I'm
a big fan of niching down. Niche down. Don't be afraid that you're going to limit yourself. I think the last number I heard was 7.4 billion people on Earth. There's people into everything. So, and like well over half these people have the internet. So you create something, stick it out on the internet, people are going to find it. And you mentioned the candles. My mom, both my parents are retired, but my mom just got into making soap. So she's going to be a new customer of yours here pretty soon. So she's going to need some printed material doing these farmer markets and stuff like that. And she goes out with one of her friends on this little soap venture. She needed something to keep her busy,
Yeah, that's so cool. Like, start a business at any point in your life, there's going to be a customer for it.
Yeah, people are getting rich off of trash, you know? Like,
for sure.
Removing trash.
Yeah. I just heard a story recently where there was a company that made a lot of money doing trash hauling. But anyway, so that's about it from me. Do you have anything, last minute things you want to share with the viewers? Anything that you think would be pertinent to share?
Not necessarily. I do want to mention, if you don't mind, I do have one other website that's specifically for lawn and landscape business owners and DIY lawn care professionals, iGoProLawnSupply.com. That's an example of an e-commerce store that we run. And basically what I try to do there is share my dealer discount with the people that need the products, whether it's a company or just a homeowner. We have over 9,000 lawn and garden parts, from lawnmower blades, oil filters, every type of filter, like everything. Of course, we sell the pro slides. We got trailer racks, ladder racks, all that kind of stuff. So anything you need to, as far as maintenance or supplies for your lawn and landscape business, I'd love to have the opportunity to save you some money on iGoProLawnSupply.com.
That's incredible, man. You're a one-stop shop for anything landscaping business related. So that's very, very, very diversified of you, and good value that you offer. So anyway,
Yeah.
I got your links to your websites, your channel in the description of this video. It looks like we had a couple viewers who are actually watching this video, so I appreciate you guys for tuning in. This obviously will be available on YouTube for future viewing as well. So aside from that, that's it from me. My name is Karthik with UZ Marketing, and we got Ryan from LawnCrack, and that's it from us. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Yeah, take care.
All right, you too.